America is no stranger to unrest. In the 1960s, assassinations, riots, and protests shook the nation to its core. And today, school shootings, political violence, and deep division echo that same turbulence. With the assassination of Charlie Kirk on September 10, 2025, many are asking, are we reliving the chaos of the 1960s? Let's take a closer look at the parallels and the differences between then and now. The 1960s were a decade of turmoil. President John F. Kennedy was assassinated in 1963. Civil rights leader Martin Luther King Jr. was gunned down in 1968. Just months later, Robert F. Kennedy, seen by many as JFK's political heir, was killed during his presidential campaign. Malcolm X had already fallen to assassins in 1965, and it wasn't just leaders. The streets burned. From Watts in 1965 to Detroit in 1967, cities erupted in anger. The civil rights movement pushed America toward equality, but also provoked violent backlash. At the same time, the Vietnam War divided the nation. Students staged massive protests, and in 1970, National Guard troops opened fire at Kent State University, killing 4 unarmed students. The decade was defined by assassinations, civil rights struggles, and a society pulling itself apart. Fast forward to today, and the picture feels familiar, yet different. In 2025, Charlie Kirk, a conservative activist and founder of Turning Point USA, was assassinated while speaking at Utah Valley University. This shocking act comes in a time already marked by political violence. We've seen threats and attacks on judges, governors, and even attempts against former presidents. But beyond politics, America is plagued by mass shootings. Schools, churches, grocery stores, everyday spaces turned into battlefields. Unlike the large-scale riots of the 1960s, today's violence often comes from lone gunmen, yet the effect is the same: fear, division, and a sense that public life itself is unsafe. So what connects these two eras? Both were times of assassinations, when public figures risked and often lost their lives for their views. Both saw protest movements that shook the establishment. Civil rights then, racial justice, and political protests now. Both eras were marked by deep generational divides. In the 60s it was the counterculture versus the silent majority. Today it's younger progressives clashing with older conservatives. And both were defined by a loss of trust in institutions. Whether it was the government over Vietnam, or today's bitter fights over elections, media, and justice. But there are differences too. In the 1960s, riots and protests involved thousands, even tens of thousands of people in the streets. Today, unrest is more fragmented, yet shootings are more common. Technology is the game changer. In the 1960s, Americans got their news from TV and newspapers. Today, social media spreads both truth and misinformation in seconds, fueling anger in real time. And the targets of violence have shifted. Then, assassins often went after national leaders. Today, violence hits not only politicians but also ordinary citizens in schools, churches, and malls. What does this mean for America? In the 1960s, the unrest forced change, civil rights legislation, the eventual end of Vietnam, and a cultural transformation. Today we are at another crossroads. The question is, will this period of turmoil push us toward reform and healing, or deeper division and violence? The assassination of Charlie Kirk is not just about one man. It's a signal that our politics, our public spaces, and even our conversations are under threat. And just like in the 1960s, what we do next will define the future of American democracy. History doesn't repeat itself, but it does rhyme. The 1960s and today share a tragic rhythm. One of conflict, courage, and confrontation. The challenge is learning from the past, so we don't repeat its darkest moments. What do you think? Are we entering a new era like the 1960s? Or is this something entirely different? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you believe we need more honest conversations about history, politics, and the future, don't forget to like and subscribe.